What's up, everyone? You're watching The Growl, and on today's list we're discussing Ebola first. So, Ricky, what do you got for us?
Well, the New England Journal of Medicine researchers have identified the patient zero, the first person to be infected with the Ebola outbreak in West Africa. It was a 2-year-old from Guinea, Emile, I don't know how to say the last name, a 2-year-old who died from Ebola in December 6th of 2013. They aren't sure how Emile contracted the disease, however.
Well, on the side note, I have something about Ebola too. This Ebola nurse, she refused to be quarantined in Maine. Her name was Casey Hickox. I want to say that's how you say her last name, but yeah. Anyways, they had to force her to stay in her home for 21 days because they were worried about like her spreading the disease or whatever. Mm-hmm. Even though she didn't show any symptoms at all, but they still did that just for like public safety or whatever.
Why did she refuse?
She did.
Why?
Oh, why? Because she doesn't believe that it's fair to her because she's shown no symptoms, so right. She feels like she should be able to just go out and go on with her business, and she doesn't feel like it's constitutionally just for her. And she also will pursue her right and freedom if need be. Like, she's gonna really take this to court.
So she hasn't been forced yet? Like, she isn't?
Yeah, she has.
She has? Okay.
But now that they saw that she doesn't show no symptoms at all, she's allowed to go, like, certain places. Mm-hmm. It's just for the safety, like, of the community. That's what they're doing.
Was it at the state level or the federal level that ordered her to stay in?
Federal, yeah.
The federal?
Yeah.
Was it the CDC? The CDC, right?
Department of Health and Human Services. Okay. They think it's a more of a reasonable, and it's a common sense that they keep her quarantined in her place because they don't want anybody to get it,
right?
And they're doing it for the entire community and not just her.
I mean, it's good that they're being precautious, but if she shows no symptoms, I don't.
Well, she showed some symptoms when she was coming back from Africa. That's why they're doing this to her. So I mean, I can kind of understand that, but at the same time, I know it's still kind of
still an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
I think in a case like this, individual freedom or liberty is not as important as the nation as a whole.
Yeah,
because if she ended up having Ebola and spread it and had an outbreak, that's way worse than having to stay in your house for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And then in other news, didn't you have OK Go, the music video that's going viral?
Apparently there's like a video that's going on right now on YouTube. It's got like 7 million views in 2 days. It was filmed in Japan, and it's just like one epic video shot on a drone.
You almost need to see it because it's like unbelievable. I know we all just watched it.
Yeah,
and
it's awesome.
It's very, very cool.
To put all that together, it's just because take a lot of work and take a lot of people to put in like the team effort. And
And I know that's kind of like their previous video where they were on the treadmills and doing that. So I don't know if this is kind of like a recreation of that.
And in 2 days, 7 million views
crazy.
In 2 days. That's it's got to be.
Yeah.
So are they like a
epic
pop group or?
I don't know if they're considered pop, but I know it's a music group.
Yeah, it's a music group. They did the "I Won't Let You Down" video.
Mm-hmm. So. And I think I've heard the song before, but this was the first time of me seeing the actual video.
And they used like
impressed.
umbrellas, like different color umbrellas. That was pretty awesome.
Well, with Halloween coming up, just on Friday, Jessica, what do you have for us?
Yeah, campus is having, and the town's having quite a few different events that different people can go to. First is Sternberg is hosting their annual Sternberg Spectacular on Friday. FHSU students are going to run different booths and games and then help groups of kids tour the museum and go from station to station. At the end of the tour, Eagle Communications is going to do interviews with each of the children and broadcast that on Channel 14.
Do we know what kind of booths and games are going to be there?
There's going to be lots of displays and demonstrations that combine the Halloween theme with natural science. So it becomes education as well as entertainment.
And what time is this from?
It begins at 2:30 in the afternoon and goes till 4, so there's plenty of time for the kids to then go out and do trick-or-treating.
Right.
And then there's also the Ellis County Historical Society is putting on Boot Hill Ghost Stories out at Boot Hill here downtown. Boot Hill's located at 18th and Fort, and the skits will start at 7 p.m. on Friday and will last about 30 to 45 minutes. The community is invited to come out and bring their lawn chairs, sit close to the action, let the characters interact with the audience, and snacks will be provided.
Does anyone know the story behind Boot Hill? Like, why is there ghost stories? Like, was there just like ghosts or stuff? Like, I don't know the story behind it.
If I recall, it had something to do with this so-called blue-eyed lady.
I think you're right, actually.
I heard about
Yeah, Boot Hill is actually a cemetery for the undesirables of Old Fort Hays. Basically was established for those who died in their boots.
Okay.
And so the skits will be done with costumed narrators that will tell the stories about the lives and then the deaths of some of the early Hays residents.
Wow. It might be a little too scary for me. But what are you guys doing for Halloween?
I'm working.
You're working? Where are you working at?
Walmart.
It might get a little scary there. Never know.
I'm probably gonna do some family stuff around the apartment.
Oh, I'll just, going out, hanging out with friends.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm going to dress up yet. I'm not quite sure.
If you were to dress up, what would you be?
I would be Ricky from Trailer Park Boys. I already have the facial hair ready if it's needed.
Right.
Well, for me, my roommates and I have decided that we're gonna go out together. So, and we're all gonna dress up.
What are you dressing up as?
I have this Batman girl suit thing in my closet, so I might just go as that, but I don't know yet. So
I have another event that's going on campus. It's not for Halloween, but it's called I Fed the Tiger. And basically, however much money someone donates to a particular department, it can be like campus life or psychology department or anything like that. Say someone donates $50. A sponsor that's involved in this I Fed a Tiger will match that, and so it'll be like $100 just to help out with various projects happening at Fort Hays and different departments and stuff. So, and then we're talking about The Turning Point. What's that about?
The Turning Point is a film that the Kansas Humanities Council put together. The one in Hays was out at the Robbins Center back on the 17th. But there are still more opportunities to view these films. There was 4 different communities that applied to do this. The Hays one featured Pete Felton and Daryl McGinnis that are local artists, as well as John Thorns, who the Moss Thorns Gallery is named after. He was the art department chair for a while and really active in the community about promoting arts, and it turns out that was his last interview before he died.
Wow.
This last year. The films will be posted on the Kansas Humanities Council website after all the premieres have gone through, and a free showing of the entire film will be shown at Gella's on the 13th.
Is it like a short film or like a feature-length film?
It's a series of 4 films that are roughly 5 minutes each on different historical backgrounds of these communities and basically the turning point of the what has brought that community together. So the Hayes one's focused on the Hayes Arts Council and how it got started. The films were dedicated in memory of Kansas historian Craig Milner. And the next premiere is coming up on November 8th in Olathe, and then Ulysses in December.
Well, I don't know if my topic's as cool as that, but Taylor Swift came out with her new album on Monday. I don't know if you guys probably have no interest in.
I'm not really up on my Taylor Swift right now.
But apparently she's set to sell 1 million records just in this debut week, and she'll be the first person to do that in 2014. So it's pretty cool. I guess we'll have to see if she hits it. Okay, so next topic is NASA. I think that was you, Taylor, right?
Yeah, so I find this very interesting. It's from yesterday on the CBS AV News. What happened was that a supply rocket that was sent up to send supplies to the International Space Station literally destroyed, but it didn't damage the state landing pad or the station under it. It blew up, but there was no damage, and there was nothing critical that was lost. But the next mission that might be done might be delayed because there's a possibility that an investigation might be done to determine what caused it, or if the company needs to pay some kind of penalty or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. And there were no people injured in this?
No,
right?
this was an unmanned rocket, so
Okay.
it was just sending up supplies. It was basically 44,000 pounds of supplies that were not like very critical. It's like probably consumables, but nothing that important.
Next on the list, it was a Broncos fan that actually disappeared. I think it was, let me find it. It was at a game at the Broncos Stadium on Tuesday night, and his name was Jared Thompson. Was the son, and he went to the restroom, and when he came out, he couldn't find his dad anywhere. And people were saying like they didn't see him, like he shows no sign of intoxication or like mental illness or anything. He just disappeared. And I think it was last night, police found him 112 miles away from Pueblo, Colorado. People there's still an investigation going on as to why, like,
He disappeared.
yeah, I mean,
That's just weird.
people are saying he just like walked away.
Maybe he had like a, what is it called, a fugue state?
What's that?
It's where people just have memory loss and they go off and do weird stuff for a couple of days and they snap out of it and they're like, what? Where am I at?
I mean, 5 days though? I don't know, that's just weird to me, but I guess we'll have to wait and see what police officials say about that.
But it's good that they found it.
Yeah, at least they found him safe
Yeah.
and showed no signs of anything, so.
Yeah.
The Student Health Center is offering free flu shots for anybody that wants one. I don't know, have you guys...
I got my flu shot just last week Sunday.
I haven't yet.
I never
so-
get the flu, so I don't need a shot.
See, that's the thing. I know
Really?
people...
You're lucky.
I know
would
people who've never gotten a
be
flu shot.
precautious,
They've never
though.
had the flu. I've always had a flu shot, like every single year. I've never had the flu. So I don't really know how effective they really are.
I don't know either, but I would rather have it than not. Are you guys afraid of shots? Is that why you don't get it?
No,
No?
it's just that I never gotten the flu.
Yeah,
The only thing I got close to it is just the common cold, and that's about it.
right. Well, when you get the flu this year. No, just kidding. The election, what's going on with that?
There was a story that just came out from Fact Finder 12 that studied this email that's been going around on Kansas voting habits. In it, there's a chart that lists all your neighbors and whether they voted or not in the last 3 elections. And they're trying to get people to vote by telling you who in your neighborhood has and has not. some of the questions that were raised was whether it was legal, and concerns about identity theft. They found that according to Kansas law, that whether you voted or not is considered public record, and so
See, I don't agree with that. What do you guys think? Do you think voting should be public record?
No,
No, I
don't
think
think
that's
so.
more of a private thing
Yeah,
I
than
agree.
a public thing.
because it's your right. Like you know, who you vote for is you. Like you make that decision, so they shouldn't make that a public record. I mean, I feel like.
So did they find like percentages of who did and didn't vote?
No, it just lists like your neighbors' names and whether they voted or not. Fact Finder 12 was trying to find out who was sending these emails, because when you do a basic search for Kansas voting rights or the project Be Counted Inc., it doesn't come up in any of your basic searches. And so there's a lot of people that were like, well, is this identity theft? Because if you follow the link in the email, it asks you to put in personal information like your name and your birth date and where you live and the basic information someone would need to steal your identity.
Right.
So would this influence you to vote if you got this email?
Probably.
I honestly think it would too.
I don't think there's anything wrong with what they did. Voting's very important. There's a lot of people who are indifferent in Kansas because we're a highly red state. So a lot of people are just like, oh well, I'm not going to vote. My vote doesn't matter anyway. Maybe that'll help get people out to the polls.
It honestly
Yeah.
could. I guess we'll have to see. And then I think you have our last topic to discuss, the Hayes Symphony.
Yes. On Saturday, the Hayes Symphony Orchestra is performing their Fall Classics concert. There will be a symphony that they play by Mozart and 3 different concertos that feature the woodwind professors here at the university. Kay Worth on oboe, Hilary Shepard on flute, Kristen Pisano on clarinet, and then Ben Klein, the chair of the department, will be conducting the orchestra.
Do you know what kind of music the orchestra will be playing?
There will be Mozart's Symphony No. 40, and then 3 different concertos based on the different performers that will be played.
And where is this at again?
It'll be in Beach Smith starting at 7:30 on Saturday.
And do you have to pay for this to get in?
For adults, it's $6. Children 12 to 18 are $4, as well as senior citizens. But it's free for Fort Hays students with ID and children under 12.
Cool. You guys have been watching The Growl, and we'll see you next time.